gratitude with Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominated a public school teacher to win $5,000 for their classroom. This week, we want to give a shout-out to Yvonne Lockmiller, who's been teaching for over 30 years. Nominated teacher to thank today at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Like, hello.
Have we been back a long time again?
A little bit.
It's a long way to our new, I'm using air quotes, cafeteria. It's down in the sales area. Plus, we can't take the show. This is a major renovation project that we're having here at iHeart. We've talked about it on air. I mean, they've not left a stud unstudded. There's not any drywall not all torn down. There's not any asbestos unremoved. I mean, this is a major, major undertaking, and we got to take the long way. Take the long way home. Do you know who did that song to me? Take the Long Way Home. Group called. That would be Who is Supertramp? Who is Supertramp? Okay, 1970s bands for 200, please. Time for 534.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1. It's time now for the lowdown in Dinkytown.
The Gophers women's basketball team extended their winning streak to 9 with a 74-61 victory over number 10 Ohio State last night at the Barn. They also snapped their 14-game losing streak to the Buckeyes, which extends back to 2016. Sophie Hart posted 18 points and 10 rebounds. Mara Braun scored 13 of her 18 points in the second half. And the Buckeyes' 61 points was a season low for them as they average 83 points per game. Common, what sticks out to you from the Gophers women's win over Ohio State?
I think for more than anything, they beat a highly regarded team. You talked about their winning streak. This coach knows what she's doing. She came in. I'm sorry. Plitzawhite? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Don Plitzawhite.
She took over for. I really do have memory issues. Why can't I think of her name? Long time. Lindsay Whalen. I'm sorry. Right? She replaced Whalen. Is this her second or third year? And she obviously can coach and recruit, right? Because this team is ranked. They're for real. They'll make March Madness on the women's side, it looks like to me. So hard. For those of us that like college basketball, but really like it during March Madness, which is, I think, most people. You want to have a team involved that's local, and we're going to get one. It doesn't look like we'll have it on the men's side, but it looks like for sure on the women's side. So that's what I take from it. I love it. It'd be fun.
Question number 2.
All Vikings, let's win this game. You'll hear us yell for more.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the state of the skull.
I not remember. I really think I have issues.
According to Adam Schefter, the Arizona Cardinals are exploring trade scenarios involving quarterback Kyler Murray. A few quarterback-needy teams, such as the Jets and Vikings, are expected to register some interest. Arizona might ultimately have to release Murray due to his $52.7 million cap hit. Common, should the Vikings be interested in trading for Kyler Murray?
Well, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. The reason you drafted McCarthy and went with him rather than Darnold was, I know one of the reasons was you thought Darnold might choke again. But the one thing is we didn't want to spend $100 million, $38 million a year, or $33 million a year, whatever it was going to be, because we wanted to take that money and throw it at free agency. Well, now you're talking about grabbing a guy who's going to cost you what? What would Kyler Murray cost you per year? A lot, right? So aren't you just doing what you didn't want to do?
My guess is you wouldn't be paying, like Arizona would be keeping some of that.
Okay.
There's no team in the National Football League that's going to be taking on Kyler Murray's $52.7 million.
Well, how much would we be having to pay? What would you think that number would be? Do you have any guess at all?
I think Arizona's going to have to take on like 30 of it.
Okay.
So either that or Arizona's going to realize nobody's going to take on his contract and they're not going to get anything for him. They're just going to release him because they want to cut the money.
Okay.
So you can get him as just a free agent. Uh-oh. USA down early, 1-0 Canada. They just scored within the first minute of a shorthanded goal for Canada early in the second period.
Much like yesterday when it looked like there might be trouble for the Peterson sisters and I asked if we should distance ourselves from them. Should we distance ourselves from the women's Olympic hockey team from the United States?
I mean, you just give up?
Well, I mean, it's like
1 minute into the second period, down 1.
Well, I'm just asking the question, should we distance ourselves or should we stick with them for a while longer?
Nice play, yeah. A little 2-on-1 on the shorthanded rush. Kind of a slow back check there by number 10 to begin with. She didn't give a whole lot of effort there at the beginning.
When do we pull the plug? If they get down 2, well, that's the most dangerous lead in hockey. I would have kept the game scoreless as long as I could if I was Canada. Your question was,
Kyler Murray.
You were really high on him for a long time, right? You loved him, I thought.
Well, I liked his potential, but he never quite got to there.
So
I like what I thought he could be, not necessarily what he was.
I guess if you believe that Kevin O'Connell is like Rapunzel, he can spin a straw into gold. He can take anybody and turn him into a great quarterback because he's a quarterback whisperer. Then I guess I wouldn't mind. But
he also doesn't seem like a stylistic fit. KFC's never had kind of like the mobile running quarterback,
right?
And not that he's a pure runner, but he just doesn't really fit the mold of a KOC passer.
And, it would be wrong to suggest, well, this is what many people do, and I was probably one of those guys for the longest time. Why do I want somebody's cast off? But tend to be, what happens in the National Football League more than we probably even know or want to admit? Organizations let down young quarterbacks more than quarterbacks let down organizations. The Vikings let down Sam Darnold. Well, no, they didn't.
Not initially.
They just let him go.
Yeah, they just let him go.
They let him go. It's a little different. But if Sam Darnold was able to do that, right, and we're talking about 2-3 teams before he got here, Kyler Murray would be leaving his. And how long in the tooth is he? Is he in year 5? Well,
I bet more than that.
Is it more than that?
Yeah, I think he's on like a second contract.
I just think they're in such a tough spot because if you grab and if you go ahead and sign, and even if you can get him cheap for $20 million a year, if you can't get anything out of him, then now what do you do with Darnold?
He's played 7 seasons.
I don't know if by 7 seasons you haven't. And wasn't he the one that had to have put in his contract he won't play video games and he'll study the playbook
yes.
instead? So because if you still feel like McCarthy's the guy, you can get something out of him. I mean, put it this way. Let me ask you a question. Let me turn it around to you. If would you rather see the Vikings continue to try to see what they get out of McCarthy, or would you rather them pivot to Kyler Murray? Now I know the idea is you'd have them both compete, but just if you bring in Kyler Murray, that means you're spending a lot of money, and you are basically while you're not giving up on McCarthy, you are kind of saying we don't think we can't just turn it over to you. So it's like I don't know. I just that's a guy that's got.
If I had to pick between those two for just 2026. I think I would take Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Now, Kyler's got a lot of the same issues we're having with J.J. McCarthy right now in terms of, well, you can't trust him to be healthy.
Yep.
I mean, 3 of his last 4 seasons, actually 4 of his last 5, he's been hurt at some point. He's only played 1 complete season in the last 5. There's always seems to be something lingering with him.
Yeah. The Vikings have just put themselves in an awful position here. And, you say you'd rather have Murray if it was just for this year coming up in 2026. Yeah. And I tend to agree, but going into the 2025 season, I thought we were built to win. I liked what we had done. Going into this season, I don't feel like we're really built to win. I think we have too many other issues. So if you bring Kyler Murray in, is he worth a few more wins? I suppose. And what could that get you? I guess that could get you into postseason play. So Yeah, and then you get the chip and a chair and a chance. So I guess, yeah, you probably have, if you have an opportunity to get a guy like that, because he has shown he can play a little bit, I suppose you go get him. Yeah.
Question number 3. Over or under?
We'll stick with the Vikings. Win totals for the 2026 NFL season are out. The Vikings are listed at 8.5 wins. Elsewhere in the NFC North, by the way, the Lions and Packers both at 10.5 and the Bears at 9.5. Common 8.5 wins for the Vikings this upcoming season. Would you take the
over or under?
Probably take the over because, you know, those 5 wins that we got at the end of the season really helped build a foundation. Gets the team used to it. It's so silly.
I always love that one.
But you could also say they were 9-8 last year.
Yeah.
They had 9 wins with some of the most atrocious quarterback play in the league. If that alone improves, there's reason to believe they can get over 9.5.
Yep. That certainly is the logic. That would be the prevailing wisdom. Though the win against Green Bay doesn't really count. Green Bay was resting everybody, so who knows? We still may have beaten them, you know. Not to say we couldn't have. I mean, a couple of the other wins came against, I think I remember some stat like 3 of the last 4 teams we played had the 29th, 30th, and 31st ranked defenses. So, you know, when you're playing against a terrible defense, and I don't know how much those teams had to play for either. But yeah, you're certainly could make that argument. I guess I'll duck in, buy it up. Why not? I'll say over. I'll take the over. I don't know if I believe it, but I'll do it.
Question number 3.
Controversy.
I'm going to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
It's time now for the controversial question of the day.
Common, if you could go back and uninvent something, what invention would you erase from history?
Why? There's probably a lot of really good answers. I'd probably say radio. All it does is create controversy. I don't know. I mean, I think what invention isn't any good? I mean, I've never used a boomerang. I tried. Did you ever get one when you were a kid? Did you ever try to throw a boomerang? It doesn't come back to you. I guess there must be some technique to it. But
maybe you just don't. Yeah, operator error.
But I don't know how to do it, so maybe boomerang.
Out of all the inventions, boomerang is...
Well, what other invention would you not want? Because most of them have helped society. Is there maybe social media?
I was going to say you could argue internet.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good that comes with the internet, but there's also been a lot of bad that comes with the internet. And I feel like life was just a little bit more simpler.
I would
pre-internet.
Maybe internet.
If you want to get really controversial, I could just say guns.
Guns. Yeah, you could.
Not that there wasn't violence before guns, but
yeah, you had to beat somebody on on the head with a big stick is what you have to do, I guess, or slingshot. I guess a sword's pretty dangerous too. But yeah,
it's very controversial.
Yeah, well, and again, it's like.
But I love how boomerang is what came to your mind.
Someone said cell phones, and it's like, well, no, I like my cell phone.
There's elements of the cell phone I understand, though.
Yeah, the people that spend all their time on social media.
If it was just for calling, right? Like the initial cell phones back in the late 90s where you were just calling people.
I don't feel like I'm... I think I'm a different cell phone user other than just the cell phone than most people. Like, you use Twitter a lot for news and stuff, right? Rosen's on it constantly. I think Big Ticket uses it. A lot of people do. I'm not the,
Sure.
But
the vast majority of people do.
So what I use mine for is for phone calls, for texting, and instead of buying a newspaper and having it delivered to my door, I just read the news. And this way I get so many different points of view. And then I use Wikipedia, and I know Wikipedia probably isn't 100% accurate, but I think it's pretty close. And so if all of a sudden I want to look up, a musical group, I can look that up and find out about them. And then if I want to look up, something about sports. Is your whole life just sports? I can use that. So I use it for, I think, very helpful things. I don't get into that cesspool of attacking people for their political or religious beliefs. I just don't. I don't care what your religious and political beliefs are. Keep them to yourself. I don't need to know about it. If you want to go out and tell all the world about it on social, go ahead. I ain't looking at it. That's for sure. So,
and that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually, 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
A couple of people said nuclear weapons.
Yep.
Someone else said they'd like to get rid of the invention of bag skates on Thanksgiving, which you used to be a proponent of. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll update you on what's happening in Olympic hockey. United States and Canada, women's, they're playing for the gold right now. We'll do that next. Common Man Program on the Fan.
And
Join Moss and Miller Lite at Duke's Pizza Pub in Oakdale tonight from 5 to 7. Stop by for drink specials, games, and register for a chance to win a spot in the Vikings Foundation Golf Tournament. Get the full details now at KFAN.com. Keyword golf.
You like my memory now, don't you? I totally forgot. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to stick it. Do I still owe you betting money, too?
I think we're clear there.
Okay. So, but I'll pay my my debt to society to you here after when we go to break. Olympic hockey continues. This is live, right? Because when we were watching Team Peterson yesterday, I don't think it was live.
It wasn't.
But I thought it was. That's how out of touch I am, as Hall & Oates once said. This is live. United States, Canada women's gold medal game. It was zippo after 1. But did you say that Canada scored shorthanded? Right.
Yeah, first minute of the second period, they score a shorthanded 2-on-1 rush. USA just not getting as much offensive zone time as the last time they played the Canadians. It's been a tough go here a little bit. Just on halfway through the game and only 12 shots on goal for the Americans.
And I'm going to ask you what I consider a controversial question. Also probably a stupid question regarding hockey. To me, I got to admit, just looks like a lot of going up and down the ice, trying to find open guys, passion, shoot, rebounds, puck luck, and all that. So you just said the United States doesn't seem to be getting as many chances in the offensive zone. Is that what you said? Something like that?
Sure.
Is there anything a coach can do to change that? Is there strategy you change? Or just say, got to keep trying, just keep trying to get something going? Or is Canada doing something to eliminate those chances? Have they changed strategies? Can you dig that deep? We know in football, you can blitz, you can, the defensive coordinators have all sorts of different approaches, and same with offensive coordinators. Is it the same in hockey as well?
Sure. I mean, you can play a more defensive style, more conservative style. A lot of times it's just more attention to detail and focus from the players, right? If you have one player that's kind of out of whack in your own zone, it throws off everybody. So as long as the entire line that's out there is connected, like a Vikings front office,
Okay.
Canada didn't have their full lineup the last time they played the USA. They were missing one of their best players.
And that player is back?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, I haven't, had my full attention to this game because we've been on the air. And it's not like I've been watching Canada women's hockey religiously. So I'm not going to be able to explain if they're playing differently. But they're a good team. This is not...
Okay.
USA and Canada women, it's always been just those two,
right,
and it's basically a coin flip who's going to win.
How many? So they meet pretty much.
Oh, they meet a lot
in the Olympics, though. I mean, always are they always generally the gold medal game?
Yes, but even just internationally, these groups of players play against each other all the time.
Olympics wise,
there's some hatred between these two teams.
They don't like each other much. Let me ask you another question. Not to put you on the spot? I don't know if you know the exact number, but how many golds has the United States won as compared to Canada, especially when they meet head up? I mean, I wonder, do they have the advantage? Do we have the advantage? As you look at that, I will remind you, with 123 days until the days start getting shorter. Just so you know, 123 days before the days start getting shorter again. Here in Minnesota, thought I would do that. That should have been a wet blanket Wednesday, but instead I decided to do it here on a throw in the towel Thursday. There's tend to be searches for that. Yesterday,
Looks like USA's won gold twice.
Okay.
2018, 1990. I know Canada's won more than that.
Okay. So, USA. We'd like to see them up and Canada. Yesterday we did we'll keep you posted as the game progresses.
Looks like Canada's won the gold 5 times.
5 times.
So I think they started in 1998 is when women's hockey.
Yesterday I stumbled across List Radio's Lazy Radio, and I'm the king of Lazy Radio. It was Bleacher Report ranking the top 100 quarterbacks. For the top 99, they didn't even have a guy, the number 100 spot. Top 99 quarterbacks of all time. I looked through the list, Tenneby. There were 10 quarterbacks that at least at one time in their career wore the purple and gold, the helmet on the horn. Those 10 players include, we'll go in the order in which they were listed. Archie Manning at 86, the father of Peyton and Eli. Oh, by the way, Eli Manning was on that list. Remember when you asked me where he was? He was at number 24 of all time.
Okay.
Do you think you would? I know you're not as.
I don't think I'm going to have him at 24.
Yeah, because
he's definitely worthy of the top 99.
When you think of all the quarterbacks that have played the game, 24 is pretty lofty. Some of the current players, let's do those before we look at the Viking ones. Jalen Hurts at 75. Now, he's still young in his career. He's got one big game victory, one big game MVP award.
You could argue he's better than Eli.
Yeah, you could. You could make that argument. Joe Burrow at 66.
I would take Burrow over Eli Manning.
Jared Goff at 63.
I would take Burrow over Goff.
Dak Prescott at 59.
He's a polarizing one.
Yeah.
He's put up good numbers.
Josh Allen at 35.
He's higher than that.
You think so?
I think he's top 20.
Lamar Jackson at 28. So they've got Lamar over Josh Allen. You could make an argument either way, I think. Then Eli Manning at 24. Matty Stafford is at number 20. Those are just some of the ones.
Sure.
That, some of the current players. Archie Manning played for the Vikings. He didn't play for a very long period of time. He's rated number 86. Dante Culpepper, drafted by the Vikings. Again, his career was injury interrupted, right? I mean, he had to retire because of injuries. He's at number 78. Why don't I? Well, because I got a bad memory. I know he had a year or two where he was really good.
He had 1 year he was second in MVP voting behind Peyton Manning.
Okay. And other than that, I think he was rather an underwhelming quarterback. Maybe that's why he's at 78.
You know, I feel like Dante was one of the first. I shouldn't say first because you had guys like Steve Young, but I felt like prior to Dante, you had a lot of running quarterbacks who couldn't throw.
Yeah.
Or you'd have throwing quarterbacks who couldn't run. And Dante was kind of one of your first original hybrids where he was as good of a running quarterback. Now, you compare him to today's running quarterbacks and he can't run as well as they can. But he's just a big, strong dude, right? I mean, he was bigger than all the linebackers trying to tackle him. And then he also had a bullet for an arm. Dante had some good years here.
Yeah.
Obviously, you had Randy Moss to throw the ball to. But, yeah, the one injury and he never recovered. He also,
the story that I know from sources in the know is he lived over back in the day when he played for the Purple. That's when Winter Park was over in Eden Prairie. He lived at the gated community of Bear Path. And once the football season was over, he would uproot himself and his family and go south. And he forgot to turn the water off, and, well, his house flooded. So he had to have it fixed. Then the off season came the next year, and he left to go south, and he forgot to turn the water off, and his house flooded a second time. So, yeah, 2 times he had to have his house redone. I think he could afford it. Kirk Cousins is at 71, Tenneby. Kirk Cousins, 71.
Sounds about right.
Rich Gannon at 50. He won an MVP award. 50th best quarterback in pro football.
Talk about a guy that definition of a journeyman quarterback throughout most of his career. Didn't remember really show much and then blossomed late.
Yes. Donovan McNabb at 42. Randall Cunningham at 39. Warren Moon at 21. Fran Tarkington at 13. And Brett Favre at 7. And what's interesting, Tim, to me, only Tarkington in Culpeper, I feel, that we had for their best years. Like, for instance, I left out Jim McMahon. Archie Manning was here for a cup of coffee. McMahon we got after his Bears day, right? He came back here in the early 90s, so his best year was with the 85 Bears. Cousins started in Washington, but were his best years?
Yeah, he played
here.
6 years here.
Yeah. Gannon, again, was here, but he didn't, like you say, blossom till he left. Cunningham had his best years in Philadelphia. He had one great year here. He did have one great year here.
Yes.
But he was, remember, retired at the time.
Yes.
You know, the story is he was laying tile in Las Vegas. And then Warren Moon, he had some really good years. He did have some.
All these quarterbacks were better elsewhere.
Well, that's it.
They're on the list because of where they did elsewhere.
That's exactly my point. Except Tarkenton. Tarkenton's best years were, and then Favre, of course.
And Cousins.
Yes, and Favre had a terrific year here, but obviously he made his hay with Green Bay. We'll pause, take a break, come back with a little Distat Latin here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Two legendary bands, one unforgettable summer night.
No way.
Santana and the Doobie Brothers are coming to Mystic Lake Amphitheater on August 27th. Don't miss this bucket list show under the stars. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Get the full details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
That sounds like a heck of a concert. I want to get some tickets and take some friends.
You would actually go to that, wouldn't you? Doobie Brothers? It seems like your generation.
But I wasn't a huge Doobie Brothers guy. 6, 7 songs I like. Santana's guitar playing is brilliant. That would probably be worth the price of admission. Individual, I'm kind of a song guy. For the longest time, and I still enjoy a brilliant 8-minute guitar solo, right? But I don't find myself drawn that. When I was growing up, guitar-driven rock was sort of kind of my thing. That's what it was. It was, you had your Hendrixes and your Hendrixes, and now my mind is so bad I can't remember who's Rolling Stones, Keith Richards, Led Zeppelin. Why can't I think of his name? God, I'm so bad. I really think I've got early onset Alzheimer's. The Who, it was not John Entwistle, but see, I can't even remember the greatest names in rock and roll guitar, but I was a Jeff Beck guy, Robin Trower, you name the great guitar, Eric Clapton. I love the great guitar players, right? Now, you couldn't get me away from a guitar solo. Now I'm not as big on guitar solos. I kind of like the whole idea of just a good melody, lyrics that mean something, and songs that sound a little bit different, even though the song remains the same. Somebody sent a text message here to the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line that says Tommy Kramer had more passing yards, TDs, and led the Vikings to the playoffs multiple times and had large comebacks. He should be higher than Culpepper on that list. You'll have to take that to the higher ups at Bleacher Report, because I don't think, now I could have missed his name because I had missed Eli Manning's name yesterday. I don't think Tommy Kramer's on the list of top 99 quarterbacks of all time, according to Bleacher Report. So while you might feel he was a better quarterback and better than Culpepper.
What did he say about Tommy Kramer?
He said that, give me a second, I got to scroll back up. He had more passing yards, TDs, and led the Vikings to the playoffs multiple times and had large comebacks. More passing yards and TDs.
Well, he had more passing yards and TDs because he played more seasons.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his stats. His stats are not great.
Yeah.
His touchdown interception ratio, not great.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not and look, we love him,
Dante made 3 Pro Bowls. Tom Kramer made 1.
Yeah.
And he did it in far less years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and again, that's that old watering hole. No. Yeah, you're at your favorite watering hole. You're at the bar with your buddies. Who was better, this guy or that guy? You can make that debate all day long. But yeah, he was not in the list of top 100. And again, I love Tommy, and I guess somebody could make an argument that he would be there. Jimmy Page is, of course, the name I'm looking for. Jimmy Page, sorry. You would think I would remember that. I'll try to. Then there's this other... this is a theory on what the Vikings should do with the quarterback. It says, if McCarthy isn't the guy, do not pivot to Kyler Murray or some other has-been. Well, Murray, I don't even think is a has-been. I think he's a never was. But he says pivot to Arch Manning or Dante Moore or Julian Sayin or DJ Lagway or Jaden, I can't pronounce his name, Maiava, plays for... I don't recall.
You know what you can do, though? You can pivot to both.
Right.
It doesn't have to, doesn't have to be independent of the other.
This is the year.
You can draft a quarterback and...
But what he's saying, let me finish. This is the year to be biblically bad.
Oh, I see. To tank.
Not historically good, or at least somewhat above average. Does anyone realize that 2027 draft is quarterback loaded? Currently 72 QBs rated above 85. 2 more than 2024. Do not sign any QB. If you can't swim with JJ... then scam for Arch to come to the rescue, in which case I hope we block better for him than we did as grandpops. You could make that case. Now, we talked yesterday or maybe it was the day before, maybe it was yesterday and the day before, where the NBA is, they know they have a tanking problem. As a matter of fact, the commissioner, Adam Silver, he addressed it during the State of the Association address over All-Star Weekend. And they're coming up with all different ideas of how they can do it, taking away ping pong balls, taking away draft picks, large and significant fines and suspensions. And I don't know if you'll ever find because like you said yesterday, and you're spot on, tanking in the NBA is there's a greater chance that it can turn your franchise around than it can in some of the other sports because you've only got 5 starters, and we know one legendary, like Cooper Flagg, I don't know where he'll end up going. It almost seems like if you had LeBron James and Kevin Garnett have a child together, it would be Cooper Flagg. Getting Cooper Flagg, he looks like, barring significant injury or some off-the-court issue, he looks like he's about to be a superstar, right?
Victor Wembanyama going number 1 overall. Like that transforms your franchise.
Anthony Edwards, number 1 pick overall, right? That number 1 pick can mean it can mean that you suddenly have somebody to build around, and that can lead to 4, 8, 10, 12 years of being a great team. So it's certainly more difficult, it becomes an easier decision in basketball to tank because you go, we're just terrible right now. We don't have a guy to build around. We don't have that guy. And that guy is coming out in the draft, and there he is. And if we can just get in that top 3, 4 draft picks, we got a chance to get, especially if there's 2 or 3 guys that are considered. And usually, generally in the NBA, there are 3 or 4 guys you go, hey, pick your poison. All those guys look like they can be really good. Whereas in football, and I just think, I don't know.
There's also so much more parity in football. Like in the NBA, you can go into a season and man, we got a bottom 5 team in the league.
Right, yeah.
And
because you don't have that guy.
In football, the worst team can feel like they can turn it around at any moment.
Which we saw. New England.
And Seattle was pretty mediocre before.
They were as well.
And they made a bunch of good changes in 1 year, and it changed their entire franchise. Football, there comes a point where I don't mind tanking, right? If you're 4 games left in the season and your season's over and there's a big-time quarterback that's available next round, I don't mind tanking then. February is not the time I'm ready to tank.
Yeah.
Because, to the point I brought up earlier, as bad as J.J. McCarthy was and whoever else played quarterback for us, Carson Wentz, Max Brosmer, they still finished 9-8 with atrocious quarterback play.
They did.
There is a scenario in which you go, man, if they find some competent quarterback play this year, they could easily be back in the playoffs and have a chip in a chair.
Especially when you have a defense that played as well as the Vikings did. And I don't, if they were able to retain. And again, last week, I think we looked at all the contract situations for all the Vikings players and who's a free agent and who's not. And I can't lay out all the guys on defense. But if you can bring back your best players on defense, which I think you should be able to do, and you can add to that, we know B-Flow can coach defense. So, yeah, if you've got a really good defense, your offense has to put points on the board, but you can get by with quarterbacks that are slightly above average. It does happen. It's easier to do it if you got a Pat Mahomes, but he's not available. So, here's one, Tennessee. Someone just said Brad Johnson has more career passing touchdowns than Troy Aikman.
See? Better quarterback.
Brad Johnson's a better quarterback than Troy Aikman. No.
Is Brad Johnson on the list, by the way?
He wasn't on that list.
Okay. You could argue he's top 100.
He won a big game, right, with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay. Troy won, I think, 3. But Troy did benefit from having one of the best running backs of all time, too.
And offensive line and wide receivers.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Here's a text message that says, enjoy the off season, relax. He's coming so fast. The Vikings are going to let JJ play more than 10 career games and develop, or they're going to make a splash for Burrow. You heard it here first. It's not that confounding. I don't think they're going to make a splash. Burrow's not going anywhere. He's staying in Cincinnati. He's got the best wide receiver in pro football playing there. There's no reason for him to leave. I don't think. I suppose he could. He wants to win, but
he's been a little cryptic there.
Yeah, he has been. Maybe part of that is just trying to, let the Bengals organization know we got to do some stuff here, folks. Yeah. Let's get something done. This isn't.
I mean, to your point, they have a top 5 quarterback, a top 5-ish, maybe number 1 wide receiver, and they have not been able to build around him.
Yeah. And look, I know that people get exhausted listening to Viking quarterback talk on the station, and I get exhausted talking about it. But it's front and center. I said this yesterday. As long as you've gone this far with McCarthy, I don't. Obviously, they're not going to cut him, right? I guess unless they it'd
have to be really bad for them to cut him.
Yeah. He's going to
give up all hope.
Yeah, he's going to go to training camp. He's going to go to minicamp, Otis, training camp, and he's going to have a chance to win the number 1 job, I think. I don't think they're going even if they got a Kyler Murray, I think they look at Kyler and said, you're probably going to win the starting job because you're more accomplished, but if this kid that we've drafted plays better than you, we're going to or if you struggle, we're not going to be shy about pulling you out of the game, and playing him. But I think because of McCarthy, I hate to just throw away a season, and that's the crux of it. Remember when people last year were doing the old, well, this season's over. You got to let McCarthy play to see what you got, and then you heard rumblings from inside the organization. There's other guys in the team that are going, well, wait a minute. You can't make all decisions based on just one. You can, but you're going to leave a locker room that's not real happy, and you're going to leave a locker room now that's going to have some dissension, and you're going to have some guys that say, I'm laying on the line. I'm in the training room. Guys are laying on the line. Sometimes it doesn't work. And you're going to just continue to play this guy to see if we have the right guy and waste another one of my years? I don't think so. You can certainly do that with your best, with your wide receiver. Jefferson has said all the right things. Remember, he did say, was it a couple of weeks ago, where he said, I think we would have been better off bringing Sam Darnold back. Yeah. And I think there were some people that...
Cashman kind of said that, too.
Yeah. And there were some people that thought, well, you shouldn't say that. Well, you just tell them the truth, and they would have been. But Jefferson has said all the right things as far as, look, I'm going to work with the kid all off season, right? They're going to go back. They could be right now, they could be at TCO right now playing pitch and catch right now for all we know. And so I do think you have to give him, he's had a few flashes, because you don't want to turn him into being the next Sam Darnold. You give up on him, he goes somewhere else, doesn't work out there, goes another place. Next thing you know, he finds another quarterback whisper. He hooks up with Shanahan. The next thing you know, he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. Goes to a big game, just like Sam Darnold did. You don't want that to happen. I keep hearing the name, people want to acquire Mac Jones, which if you could, I would do it in a second. But I don't think San Francisco is going to let him go because they still control him. He's under contract to them. And he went, did I hear that right? He went 5-3 as a backup this year because Brock was out for a number of games with injuries. And Shanahan can quarterback whisper.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, though. Like, because he can quarterback whisper, do you flip Mac Jones after you've turned him into a positive asset?
Yeah.
And then you quarterback whisper the next guy?
Well, you could.
The next Sam Darnold, the next Mac Jones, you bring them in for cheap, and then you take Mac Jones, you trade him for, probably a decent draft pick.
You could make that argument, and many people do. What I was reading out of it must have been the San Francisco Chronicle or something. Maybe it was The Athletic, as you know, they have writers based in every city. What I read, it led me to believe that San Francisco's not really interested in doing that. But I guess if you make the call, they'll answer, right? If the phone rings, I'll answer it. And if you blow them away with a good enough offer, you're right. I mean, especially if you said something like, let's say you said this. I'm not suggesting the Vikings should do this, but if you got a call and said, we'll trade you our number one this year in J.J. McCarthy for Mac Jones.
They'd do it, yeah.
You think they'd do it? They probably
yes.
would. I think they probably would, right? If you were the Vikings, would you do something like that? Do you?
No.
So because you don't believe.
I don't have a lot of interest in Mac Jones. Because one, I'm kind of past the point of us constantly giving up draft picks.
Yeah.
I get we haven't nailed the draft picks we have, but you might as well have as many kicks at the can as you can. Because the reason we're in this spot is because of how bad the draft has gone the last 4 years. And Mac Jones is, maybe he turns into the next Sam Darnold. I think he's just he's a fine, suitable quarterback.
Okay.
That would he give you better play than J.J. McCarthy? Yes, but I don't think he's going to bring you to the big game.
Okay.
I don't think he's that good. And he's immobile.
Of all the names out there, other than Joe Burrow, big name, right?
Sure.
He's the most intriguing to me. I'd rather
Mac Jones.
I'd rather, and again, maybe it's.
What about A-Raj?
Well, I was talking more about a guy you think you might be able to have for more than a year or two. Because Mac Jones is now. How far is he in the league now? 5-6 years?
It's probably something like that.
Sort of what Darnold was, and so, and I like what he did in San Francisco. It is that. Changes in attitude, changes in latitude oftentimes helps. We saw.
He's played 5 years.
Even with, let's go back to the Bleacher Report, top 99 quarterbacks of all time. In the Viking quarterbacks that were on that list, you said it, and you were spot on. Most of those Vikings on the list were better somewhere. Rich Gannon's a prime example. Gannon and Salisbury battled it out for the starting job here back when Denny first got here. That was, 93, 94, 95, 96, right after McMahon left. And neither guy really grabbed the position and went, boy, this guy's going to be really good. And then Gannon leaves here and wins an MVP award and goes to the big game. So, guys can develop late. But that would be, here would be the Vikings' luck. Let's say they did a McCarthy and a pick and got Mac Jones, and Mac Jones doesn't develop, and then McCarthy, comes in for Purdy on a season-ending injury, and McCarthy ends up being the next Sam Darnold and takes the 49ers to a big game, and that'd be the Vikings' luck. That's how it kind of goes. This one says, I think it's hilarious that quarterback whisperer has become a verb in this market. I do as well. I think that's why I don't know if I don't think I was alone, but what am I watching? I've got hockey now, and I didn't turn the station. But now I've got it. So they flip, because I couldn't change the channel. I wasn't watching what you watched.
Well, you're probably just, seeing the highlights, or they cover everything on your, are you on 811?
Okay, that's what we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, 825 is the game.
I tried, but this thing's froze up. This is what I used yesterday. You know, I'm a boomer. You know me. 8:25. I can't.
Are you streaming on Peacock in there?
I don't know what I'm on. I think so. I think it's Peacock. What is the score now?
It's still second intermission.
Okay.
1 period to go. Canada 20 minutes away from a gold medal.
Thanks for helping me out.
Oh, there's listening too.
Yeah. Look at Zacho helping me out here. Thanks, Zacho. I appreciate it. I'm a boomer, you know that. I'm old enough to be your grandfather. How old are you? 31. Yeah, I'm old enough to be your grandfather. Just stay out of trouble now, son. Grandson. So we're and what's our score between periods?
1-0 Canada after 2. The third period's about to get underway probably soon.
Going into the Olympics, Canada was the favorite, right?
I think Canada, USA were probably like co-favorites, maybe even USA slight favorite.
Then AI's lying to me. AI said Canada was the favorite going in. That's what
For women?
Yeah, and they said no, maybe it was men.
For men, Canada was the favorite.
Okay.
A slight favorite over the U.S.
Okay. Well, that's that. We'll update you as soon as changes are made. We'll take a break. We'll come back. 1 more hour to go. It's a Common Man program here on the Fan.